Hi everyone, Alyssa Moss Weinzimmer here. I'm the founder of Voice Body Connection, and in this video series, we're going to talk about what to do when you lose your voice post-COVID, illness, or other vocal strain. So one of the first things that's important for me to say here is I'm a voice coach, not a clinician. So this is educational advice, not clinical advice. And I do recommend that you seek clinical advice, especially if you find that your voice has been hoarse for an extended period of time, over 2 weeks, or if you've had a sudden change in your voice. If you've suddenly gone from one state to another within a day or an hour, that's a really important indication that it's time to go find a laryngologist, a voice doctor, or a local SLP, speech language pathologist. So do not skip the clinical step if you need to. And in the meantime, I would invite you to try these techniques. Now, first of all, I'm just going to start with some overview stuff in this first video. It's really common when we get sick that we want to take a lot of medications to mask our symptoms and to feel better, and that makes total sense. But be careful when it comes to your voice, because a lot of medications are drying. They're actually going to dry out the tissues, and your vocal folds are really tender tissues. So we want to be sure that we're not overdoing it. And in particular, we can overdo it with cough drops. A lot of the cough drops on the market contain menthol or other things that numb the vocal folds, and that can actually put you in a state where you overdo it because you don't realize how they actually feel. So I recommend it's okay to use those sparingly or in moderation as you need to, but try not to overdo it. Another really important thing to say is to utilize voice rest. So it's really easy in this modern day to keep showing up for your online meetings, to push through, to try to keep working. But if your voice is starting to, dare I say, crap out on you, then that means that it needs a rest. So take some meetings off your calendar, take a whole day or even a whole week off of work. It's worth it so that you don't wind up with long COVID symptoms or lung issues or breathing challenges or voice issues like muscle tension dysphonia in the long run. And then the third thing to say is definitely while you're sick, we know not to go into public places, but even after you get better, be really careful about going into loud environments, because that's the place where you're not going to have the feedback to know that you're overdoing it. It's easy to try to talk over the din of a loud restaurant or a loud bar or whatever louder environment there is, and to overdo it. And keep in mind that just like if you had pulled your hamstring, you wouldn't necessarily start running sprints again right away. You'd like walk and warm your way back up. You want to do the same thing with your voice. So this is the most important overview stuff to share with you. And in the next video, I'm going to talk to you about my top tip, which has to do with adding more lubrication to the vocal folds. And no, it's not drinking more water, but do that too. It's steaming. We'll talk about that in the next video.